Good afternoon, a very warm welcome to TV47 News Feed, this 8th Saturday of the month of May 2021. My name is Grace Josephine. A former Nairobi City County Assembly Speaker Alex Ole Magello is dead. Ole Magello died last night at a Nairobi hospital. President Uhuru Kenyatta led national leaders in mourning Ole Magello. In his message of comfort and encouragement, President Kenyatta described the late Ole Magello as an outstanding leader who worked hard to make Kenya a better country for all. Moving on, controversial Nyeri businessman Stephen Wangundo, who was accused of killing his son Daniel Mwangi, is dead. The death of the 74-year-old tycoon comes just a few days after he was released on a 1 million shilling bond on the 28th of April alongside his 4 accomplices charged with murder. According to his family, Wangundo was pronounced dead at a private hospital in Nyeri where he was receiving treatment.
The little known about death of Nyeri tycoon Stephen Wangundo shook his close relatives at Outspan Hospital in Nyeri, where he was pronounced dead on Friday. Wangundo first hit the headlines in January this year after reports linking him to the brutal murder of his son Daniel Mwangi emerged following a fallout with the 32-year-old son over the control of their family business estimated at over 1 billion shillings. It is alleged that Wangundo hired 4 hitmen at a fee of 160,000 shillings in December last year, planning what would later come to be Wendiga's most foul murder. The plan would begin with Wangundo's driver James Mahinda, who is said to have pocketed 20,000 shillings to form the hit squad that included co-accused Eddie Kariuki, Raphael Washira, and Geoffrey Warutumo.
The prosecution is granted.
According to detectives, Mwangi, who was found dead outside his home, was hacked to death by the 4 hired hitmen. Wangundo's death comes a few days after Embu High Court Judge Florence Muchemi set him free alongside his 4 accomplices amid protest by the prosecution. Details into his death are, however, still unknown. Musa Salah, TV47.
On to matters politics, Deputy President William Ruto's allies from Mount Kenya have denied any betrayal from their counterparts who voted for the BBI bill. Speaking a day after the passing of Constitutional Amendment Bill 2020 in the National Assembly, they say that the DP had not given any directive on how to vote for the bill. However, some say they will continue campaigning against the bill, which they term as a poisoned chalice.
And the reason why I did that is because I never knew a member of parliament who went and convinced thousands of people would be bribed with apparently 100,000 shillings to vote in this way or the other. And therefore, there was no better way to describe those sycophants other than calling them out and saying is that he is as it is. But also I want to say that the whole thing is now going to the public, and the people of Kenya will have an opportunity to actually reverberate their voice and bring it out for those who are in Slaba in Nairobi to really understand where the people are purporting that Mount Kenya region is benefiting. One, on something they are calling 1 man, 1 vote, and number 2 about constituencies, which is actually a lie. The formula in the BBI is perpetuating the same kind of neglecting the people of Mount Kenya region. Because out of the 70 constituencies, the 10 counties of Mount Kenya are actually getting only 17.
About those of our members, those who are supportive of the Deputy President, who voted with the other team. It doesn't mean they have changed their position, and I think you've heard a number of them state that position very clearly today, that it does not mean they have in any way changed their support and their position in terms of their political inclination, but because of other factors that influence their decisions in matters constitutional and the legislative work, then they had to vote the way they voted. And I do not think this has in any way changed the thinking of any of those members, any of our members, those who are supportive of the Deputy President, those who work with us in terms of their support for the Deputy President and the cause that we are in of a bottom-up approach that will uplift the livelihoods and the lives of Kenyans post this regime. We will still allow all our membership to take the position they want to take on BBI. There are those of us who have decided, come rain, come sunshine, we will oppose BBI. And I have made that clear in all my engagements, both privately and in public, that for me, I don't believe in the process. I believe the process is anchored on treachery and deception, and therefore I cannot be supportive of the process. And I expressed that even in my contribution in Parliament, and I intend to continue pushing that agenda. And but that doesn't mean because as an individual I have that position, any other person has that position. We allow our people to have the democratic space to decide how to play their politics. But we will play the same politics on the 2022 elections and on the candidate we support. That you can bet nothing has changed.
Disagree that there was any betrayal. You cannot betray a cause that does not exist. From our corner, we had no common position. We talked and discussed and we said everybody should be free to vote either way, depending on how you feel, how your conscience is, and consulting the people that you represent. So there was no betrayal. The real contest is coming, and there was no contest there. And you cannot betray a cause and go to a no cause, because when you say that they have betrayed Deputy President William Ruto to go and support who is the candidate on the other side? When we ask our colleagues in Parliament who are opposed to Dr. William Ruto, whom they are supporting, they have no idea, they have no clue, they are waiting to be told. So you cannot betray somebody in favor of nobody. So we want to say that what happened in Parliament was barely procedural, it was ceremonial, and it has no effect on what is happening politically going forward in the 2022 contest.
Moving on, controversy continues to dog the newly elected tea factory directors, with a cross-section of farmers in Kisii disowning them. The farmers dismissed the government-driven elections as a quote-unquote sham and petitioned it to organize another exercise that will be acceptable by the majority. They claimed only about 400 out of 30,000 farmers from a single factory participated in the elections held last week, whose numbers was not representative. The newly elected directors are struggling to assume office amid opposition from factory management and their predecessors. The farmers under Kiamokama factory, who spoke during a field day in Nyamagesa, Masaba South, said they did not vote in the recently held elections owing to non-inclusion.
Tuliambiwa tena election ilifanyika kwa directors 6. Na serikali ilituambia itachagua director 3. Na hao wenye walichagua 6 na wenye tulichagua sisi kama wakulima wanaisa tunachagua kulingana na Company Act, tunachaguanga 6 na serikali ikachagua 6. Kwa hivyo tunaona kuna burden. Kwa hivyo sisi, mimi mwenyewe na wakulima wenzangu, hatukufanya uchaguzi na hatuchafanya any election. Wenye walienda kufanya hatujui ni akina nani.
Watu wachie chai yetu ikue kwa Kiamokama KTTA, alafu kwa sababu nkichuna chai inachua inachiripia hiyo shilingi 300. Sasa wakinipeleka kwa serikali, nitaenda kutoa wapi pesa? Na watoto vijana wako na mabibi zao na watoto. Naenda tena kuomba watoto wangu nafasi wanipeleke hospitali. Wacha watu wajie cha yetu ikue kwa mahali hiko, alafu tuendelee kusaidiwa na hiyo kampani yetu ya KTT.
Pastors and church leaders in Kirinyaga County have been urged to be the society's compass instead of taking political sides ahead of the 2022 general elections. According to Kirinyaga Pastors Fellowship Chairman Dhuo Wanjohi, it is important for church leaders to remain neutral in political matters so as to avoid misguiding the congregation.
Sisi kama wahubiri, kazi yetu sio kwenda kusimama kwa media wakati huu kutoa tukisema tumesikizana na wale ambao wanasimama. Kazi yetu ni kuangalia vizuri na kuwaombea. Ndio huo wakati ukifika tutajua na tutaongea na tutaonyesha wakristiano wetu ni yupi anayefaa, kwa sababu sio wote wanafaa kupewa kazi yenye wanaitisha.
Wengine walikuwa wanasema ati kanisa imechukua stand na kuna mahali inaegemea. Sisi kama wachungaji hakuna mahali tumeegemea na hakuna mahali kanisa imeegemea. Kanisa inaangalia watu wote, maana watu wote ni sawa katika Kirinyaga na hasa katika Kenya yetu kwa jumla.
Kitui County female MCAs are benefiting from an e-learning program that is meant to empower them on matters related to political leadership, financial management, and gender mainstreaming in leadership. The e-learning curriculum that is being delivered by experts in various fields is meant to empower the female MCAs with knowledge and skills in order to make them eligible for political leadership. Speaking during the induction, the chairlady of the Female MCAs Caucus, Mwende Mumo, said that at the end of the program, many women will have the skills and confidence required to run and win political seats alongside men.
Women MCAs to become more focused in leadership, and also prepare them, in case they are nominated, prepare them to be elected. They also, women MCAs become very vibrant in the assemblies. They are able to introduce bills and debate on them, and at the same time advocate on what is happening on the ground. Because as you hear the name, it normally also helps in especially women and the marginalized people and disabled people around our villages who cannot be reached by anybody. But it's us who get to know what's happening on the ground, and their voices will be heard by us when you go back to the assembly and talk about them. In that sense, we are able to give better service and also push our county forward.
Over 600 families in the sprawling Rwanda slums in Nakuru have a reason to smile after well-wishers started a project to donate food to the vulnerable on a daily basis. The Scanhot Kitchen will see needy families cushioned against the harsh economic effects occasioned by the COVID-19 pandemic. Speaking at Scanhot Kitchen in Rwanda, some beneficiaries, including Ms. Grace Wangari, lauded the Jilani family and partners for feeding the locals who grapple in abject poverty. The Scanhot project has assisted over 58,000 beneficiaries since it was established in July 2020 in the wake of the COVID-19 catastrophe.
Pahali tunakaa Nakuru, hatuna shamba, hatuna chakula, hatuna nini chochote, na tunaomba tukisaidiwa na serikali, hata nyinyi mnaona vile watu wanakuja, tutasaidika sana.
We've rented this premises here, and we built this area up. We have done this in record time. We have completed all the constructions and all the furniture in a period of 3 weeks to be able to get started as quickly as possible. Today is our first day here. We really had no idea how many people we would expect, but we prepared for 300 meals to be served. And I think looking at the number of people out here, I think we are going to exceed that figure. However, this is a program that is going to continue for the foreseeable future, and we are prepared to serve up to 600 meals per day at this venue.
Nashukuru sana, Mungu amuongezee miaka.
15 minutes past the hour, we take a quick breather. Don't go too far away as we have so much more lined up for you.
Raukia siku njema na tunukiwa offers kila siku. Pata offers zote mahali pamoja ili uongeze zaidi, utume SMS zaidi na ubrowse zaidi.
Wewe usijali. Tuma namba ya kila supplier kwa hiyo soko. Enda job nitaongea na kila mmoja wao.
Very good. Piga *444 hash utunukiwe Credo double sako.
Raukia siku njema na tunukiwa offers kila siku.
As the country gears up for possible BBI referendum and 2022 general elections.
As the salvos enter too familiar territory,
William Ruto will serve his 5 years term as the deputy president.
Pundits Night is here to give you powerful, thought-provoking political commentaries.
The mountain can produce a country.
Give Moses Kuria a chance to respond. Let me ask you this. Are you not taking advantage of first my situation?
You talk about the people with the ultimate power.
Kikuyus will vote for somebody from outside their community to be the next president of this country.
We talk to the newsmakers, the opinion shapers, and the pundits.
Fair enough. I believe
A very warm welcome back. Even as Senate is expected to make a determination on the Constitutional Amendment Bill 2020 on Tuesday next week, Saboti Member of Parliament Kaleb Amisi has said that whatever the outcome of Senators' vote, it has no impact on the direction of the bill that was passed by majority of the MPs in the National Assembly on Thursday. Boniface Barasa with the details.
According to Saboti Member of Parliament Kaleb Amisi, a referendum is the ultimate destination of the 2020 Constitution Amendment Bill. Amisi called on Kenyans to prepare for the exercise, saying the Senate will be playing a ceremonial role in their vote next week.
Ile kura ya Seneti ni ceremonial tu, wanaweza kataa, wakose kukataa, bill itaenda. As long as National Assembly has passed, that's it. So hiyo wa Senate they have no option. It's very unfortunate that it has the National Assembly is the upper house and you are the one who set the agenda. So sindio tumeanza because the Senate have absolutely no reason or no agenda to do with the BBI now. It is over.
This comes after majority members of the National Assembly passed the Constitution Amendment Bill 2020. The Senate will have a special sitting on Tuesday next week to deliberate on the motive bill.
Senate itapiga kura yake on Tuesday. And I want to tell Kenyans that a constitution is a living organ, is a living document. It continuously turns from good to better, better to best as we go to the future. So zile vitu ambazo hazimo, there will always be an opportunity to include them at a later stage.
We made a giant step towards the dream of creating a more equitable Kenya and a more prosperous Kenya through strengthening devolution through the BBI initiative. Na hii lazima nishukuru sana wabunge wetu.
On his part, Kiminini Member of Parliament Dr. Chris Wamalwa has asked Kenyans to actively participate in boundaries review exercise to be conducted by IBC when the time comes.
Sisi tukiwa Trans Nzoia, we thank God we've been given 2 constituencies. We are supposed to have had 3, but they've given us 2. Nyinyi wananchi, nataka kuambia ya kwamba it's only IBC that has the powers to the limitation of boundaries. Na hiyo wakati ikifika, muende mpatiane mawaidha yenu, maoni yenu, ili wakate kukata kulingana na equity.
On his part, ANC party leader Musalia Mudavadi has challenged Kenyans to follow the direction shown by members of the National Assembly.
Viongozi wenu kwa bunge wamemwonyesha mwelekeo. Kwa vile wamepiga kura. Sasa kura utarudi kwetu kule mashinani. Tujitahidi tutekeleze safari hii ikwishe vizuri.
Boniface Barasa, TV47, Trans Nzoia County.
Narok leaders have sent their condolences to the family of the late Alex Ole Magelo, who was a former Nairobi County Assembly Speaker and one of the Maa community kingpins. Narok County Assembly Majority Leader Bernard Ole Torome says the Maa community has lost a dedicated leader who has been defending their interests. Listening.
Mshangao mkubwa na kwa huzuni nyingi ya kwamba sasa imedhibitika ya kwamba Mheshimiwa Alex Ole Magelo ambayo ni mmoja wetu, ni kiongozi kutoka hapa ambaye amehudumu Nairobi, amehudumu kwenye nyanja nyingi sana. Ni kiongozi ambaye alikuwa anapendwa na wote. Ni kiongozi ambaye alikuwa rafiki wa wengi, sio Masaini peke yake, hali Kenya nzima. Tunajua sisi kama wakazi wa Narok County na vile vile wakazi wa Kajiado, mahali ambapo wamekuwa kiishi hivi majuzi, tunajua ya kwamba tumepoteza kiongozi wa maana sana. Ni kiongozi ambayo angekuwa mfano mwema kwetu, na hata sisi kama viongozi nafikiri ni vyema tuige maisha ya mzee wetu huyu ambaye tulimuenzi sana.
Nasikitika kupeana pole kwa familia ya Magelo ambayo ni kiongozi tumepotesha, ambayo inaipendwa katika Narok County. Ni mzee ambaye amechangia pakubwa maendeleo ya nchi hii. Yeye amewahi kuwa gavana ama amewahi kuwa speaker wa Nairobi County, na hapo mbeleni awali amekuwa viongozi kwa idara mbalimbali katika serikalini. Hii ni mtu ya maana ambayo tumepotesha. Kwa mashauri ambayo anapatia community ya Maa ilikuwa pakubwa zaidi.
Crossing borders into some international news, the World Health Organization, or WHO, has approved for emergency use a COVID-19 vaccine from China's state-owned drug maker Sinopharm. The move bolsters Beijing's push for a bigger role in inoculating the world, which, as Jason Albano reports.
In a potential boost to global vaccine supplies, a Chinese COVID-19 vaccine has been granted emergency use by the World Health Organization. China's state-owned drug maker Sinopharm is the first vaccine by a non-Western country to win WHO backing on Friday. It's also the first time the WHO has given emergency use approval to a Chinese vaccine for any infectious disease. Sinopharm is one of 2 main Chinese coronavirus vaccines already being given to hundreds of millions of people at home and abroad. The WHO emergency listing is a signal to regulators that the product is now considered safe and effective. The listing also allows it to be included in COVAX. That's the global program providing vaccines mainly to poor countries struggling with vaccine supplies. The WHO said in a statement, quote, "Its easy storage requirements make it highly suitable for low-resource settings." Director General Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus spoke on Friday.
This afternoon, WHO gave emergency use listing to Sinopharm Beijing's COVID-19 vaccine, making it the 6th vaccine to receive WHO validation for safety, efficacy, and quality. This expands the list of vaccines that COVAX can buy and gives countries confidence to expedite their own regulatory approval and to import and administer a vaccine.
The WHO estimates Sinopharm's efficacy to be 79% for all age groups. It recommended the vaccine for adults aged 18 or older in a 2-dose schedule with a spacing of 3 to 4 weeks. In the COVAX program, Sinopharm's vaccine now joins those developed by Pfizer-BioNTech, AstraZeneca, Johnson & Johnson, and as of last week, Moderna. But a WHO official said it would be up to Sinopharm how many doses it chooses to provide the program. The WHO also said it could reach a decision on Sinovac, China's other main COVID-19 vaccine, by next week.
Still on matters COVID-19, Japan registered a record 6,057 new coronavirus cases on Friday, pushing its total infections to 628,037, according to data cited by Japan Broadcasting Corporation, NHK. The country has breached the 6,000 mark for the second time since mid-January. It also recorded 148 daily deaths since the pandemic hit the country, taking its overall death tally to 10,760.